You're listening to the Welcome to the Rebellion podcast. Hey, Jay, are you ready? Because it's time to start the show.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Welcome to the Rebellion podcast. It's been a little while because I have been traveling all over. I mean, everywhere and everywhere. I guess if you're a fan or like a subscriber to this channel, you've seen that I'm running the Fan Expo cons with my here comes the name drop, everyone, with my good friend Gina Carano. So, you know, it's been crazy, but it's good to be back home. And then I'm off and running again. So I can't believe who I have on. I can't believe the guy is all over the news. You know, you heard him being mentioned in trials. The guy is just, you know, according to the media, the guy's making about $8 million a month, you know, just by saying the name Johnny Depp. But I reached out and I was just like, please, can you do me a solid? And what's interesting is before I bring him on, that umbrella guy, which us friends like to call him Tugs. You know, you guys all know. I see you all in the chat. We're friends because people knew that he was coming on. He was coming on the podcast, and I was getting messages, man. People were like, you better not mistreat our Tugs or else. And I mean, it was like one after another. I'm like, we're friends. Like, I know him. I know him. It's okay. And I'll let him explain that. And it was almost like, you know, I was messaging and I was like, if he did a little, I was like, please don't troll because these people will be all over. They'll be all over me if you're like, oh, I can't stand that drunk 3PO guy. But anyway, let's just bring him on. Here it is. That umbrella guy. How are you, sir?
Hey there, man. You know how hard it is for me not to troll you right now. You really know how hard that is.
That's why we love you, though, man. That's why because you do troll it. You do troll your friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what friends do. Yeah, I did think, but right now I am a little more careful about that. Yes, Drunk and I are good friends, but I did think about coming out here and be like, my God, you have no idea what he was saying to me before.
I was a little nervous because I'm like, hey, I'm having Tug on and like I'm watching the messages. The people are just like, you better treat him with respect. And I'm like, I will. I was nervous, you know, I was like nervous. Like, I will not disrespect Tug. I will not. He is a national treasure. I've known him for some time now. We're just like YouTube buddies, you know. I could reach across the aisle and hopefully I get to hang out with him pretty soon at one of these conventions. That'd be all. I want to feed you a jelly bean. I guess like Nick Rekieta did in that picture that's going around.
That was so sexy, man. Yeah, back in month 3.
You know, it'd be cool. I would love to see like everyone like in one of the Tug masks. You know,
that would be really funny.
Like just going around wearing that like that one movie where they wore that other mask, you know, they were trying to like start a rebellion and they wore that white mask. I can't remember what V for Vendetta. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
So
that was
instead,
what was really funny is when we went to Matsuri, you know, like people they don't know me by my face. So I had that on and I have to hey there to everyone because that's how they know who I am. Oh man, are you really that umbrella guy? So I have to hey there, you know.
Like, how does that work when you're out? Like, do people ask for like pictures and things like that? And you just kind of like, you put the mask on and.
Oh, no, you know what? Like I've ran into a few people that have known my voice. I know some people know who I am, but nobody's actually asked for a picture yet. So that's all good. You know, I don't really care if my face gets. I mean, you know, there's like an ancient picture like floating around. I actually have a beard, long hair. I mean, it doesn't look like me at all these days, but I don't really care. Like my whole YouTube shtick is. I mean, at first, I'm not going to say I didn't start with that in mind, but it's also, man, like my words matter. It doesn't really matter what I look like behind this image.
Well, speaking of YouTube, and I want to thank Lil Watermark, man, he just gifted 20 gift memberships to the channel. Holy crap. Thank you so much for that. And if you want to watch this live, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen, I record these live on YouTube. And wow, thank you for that generous gift there. And I know I have some super chats. We will get to them soon. But many people don't know that your YouTube career didn't start with Johnny Depp. You know, it actually started with you playing with stuff in a garage.
Yeah, way back actually. That actually what happened was YouTube was just a place to upload things. I originally I was doing product reviews on Amazon, and I noticed that people would take my product reviews and they would scam with them. And that kind of made me mad. So I would take those and I would port them over. I would add a little bit to them, but I would port them over here. And that way, if somebody put them up for a scam, I could claim them and I could shut it down. I don't care if people use them, but they would link them to scams. And I was annoyed by that. So really, it wasn't this thing set up here for years before I did anything. I mean, I would do a product review here or there. One of my best videos is actually a sprinkler video.
I was about to say it has like almost 300,000. It's like 270 or something like that views. Yeah. Where you literally like have the camera down on a little sprinkler. And I was like, I'm doing this wrong. We do a lot of like on this channel, we talk a lot about how bad Lucasfilm is and stuff like that. I'm like, I just need to get a sprinkler, and just like, like what the heck?
Product reviews actually did really well for me, to be honest. I did that. And then when I transitioned over but I didn't want to make content. That was the kicker. I didn't want to make content until all the mess with comics. And that's when I started going over to actually being a content creator.
So that was your first where you're like, I'm going to start reviewing comics on the YouTube channel. Like, how did that just start? Was it just like
actually Gail Simone, the comic creator?
Oh wow.
Simone, yeah, she said, so I was arguing with somebody on I can't remember exactly what the argument started out with, but Gail Simone actually got involved. And I don't remember what I said. It's been a while now, but she said, I bet you $1 you can't make that into a coherent thought, and I bet you I get to keep that $1. So I was like, all right. So I made my first video making fun of Gail Simone, and that's what got me started there. Gail Simone never paid me my $1, by the way. She still owes me.
Really? How am I not surprised that Gail Simone? And yes, I want to acknowledge that there are so many people from the Tug channel, that Umbrella Guys channel over here. So I appreciate you guys coming by. I know they're watching to make sure I take care of you. I take care of you. That nothing's gonna happen.
Take care of me. That's a threat, man. He's threatening to kill me.
Yeah. See, I knew it. After this is over, I'm gonna like log off Twitter in case Tug decides to like troll me and have some fun, because at the end of the day, that's just what we do. But see, doing comic book reviews, that kind of did that lead you down this crazy rabbit hole that a lot of us in this, I guess, fellowship like started to discover? How they started changing things in our entertainment. I think it kind of did it start with the comic books before it get into the movies and all these things started happening. But what do you think?
We really noticed it in more fringe media, like comics. Again, you had your big blow up in gaming before that, but in comics, my thing was that I looked at the content, and the content was lackluster. And then what got me down this rabbit hole that we universally share is I started looking at the creators, not just the content, but the people who create it. That's when you really fall down that shared rabbit hole experience, because it's the same. It doesn't matter like you guys covering Star Wars or us covering comics. And you notice they always come up with some disparaging term, whether it's with the Johnny Depp. So they always other you. They always do, because whether it's Comicsgate, they call Depp supporters Depp Anon, trying to call them anonymous, basically. It's strange. It's strange.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like we began to discover that something was changing as far as like woke ideologies or whatever people want to call it, like it plugging in their political messages, things like that. And many of us, including yourself, we just started calling it out in our own space. Like for me, I didn't recognize that stuff until it came into Star Wars, and so it was like while other people were screaming it, saying, hey, something's coming, like get ready, we were just like, well, it didn't affect me, so keep screaming over there. But then now we see it like all coming in full circle, where it's like it's such a crazy time and place that we're in. And so then you're leading through the comic book industry, I guess, on if that's what you want to call it, through YouTube. But then I guess the Me Too movement happened while you were on YouTube, and that's when some of this stuff really started hitting.
I saw it. Yeah. I mean, what you saw was the false accusation portion. Me too. It started off as something positive for about 3 months. You had positive. You had men, women, everyone coming together and saying, this happened to me too. That's exactly what it should be. And then you had the media, you had celebrities, they hijacked that movement. And then you had the false accusers start pouring in. And the first one that really caught my attention was Vic Mignogna. That's the first case. Like people like Flash, he could cover a million things at once. Me,
Shout
I
out
am
to
very
Yellow Flash.
yeah. Props to him, because he's he Vic Mignogna, he was like, yo, man, you should look at this case. I was like, all right. So he led me down that rabbit hole that took for a while. And then Depp, actually, he's the one who was like, yo, quit doing whatever stupid thing you're doing and look at this, and that led down this particular rabbit hole too. And I mean, it's amazing, because when you start looking at the accusations alone, I was charting them in comic books at one time. And at one time there were 3 accusations coming up a day average for 32 days. I mean, that's holy
Wow.
crap. Yeah, almost 100 accusations. And again, I'm not saying they're all fake. Some of them I absolutely, I believe, were real, but there were so many of them, and nobody was looking into them at all. They just right there, they consider those people guilty. It circumvents all law, and there is no due process in that.
That's what happens, is like a movement comes out intended for good, and then the abuse starts to happen, where it's like it doesn't matter. I've been Me Too'd, I'm a victim, so give me, and then what happens is in all the false accusations, some of the real accusations kind of get taken less seriously.
Oh yeah.
Right, just like what happens now. It's like, if you don't see, for us over at Star Wars, like if you don't like something, like these past few months, they called you a racist. If you criticize this character, that's what you are. And it's like, well, you know what you're doing to these words, right? You're like literally making a joke out of them because of what they're calling you, and this ism, that ism, all isms, things like that. And you're just like, what are you talking about? The first time for me was after The Last Jedi. I was like, man, this movie's terrible. And I went on this thread on Twitter where someone was trying to explain to me, like, or not to me, but just this thread on Twitter. This was before the Drunk 3PO days, where it was like trying to explain why this movie's good and why you're wrong. Right. And I just commented something so small, like, you really believe that's what Luke Skywalker would do? Right. And I got called the Yahtzee, word, and all that stuff you can't say on YouTube. And I was like, what the heck is this? It was like, what is this? Like, where have we gone from, where you can't have different opinions, or criticize, or have think differently. I don't know. It's really bizarre. Now, for those that don't know, that might be listening, about Vic Mignogna, are you able to
Sure.
just kind of explain
Yeah,
that for
fast.
those
Yeah,
that
yeah.
don't?
So if people don't know, first of all, Vic Mignogna is people should know Dragon Ball Z. If nothing else, you don't know any of the stuff I'm talking about. Dragon Ball Z, I'm sure you know the brand. So the when this stuff is carried over, you have American dub voice actors. They put this in
Mhm.
English. Well, Vic Mignogna is the most well known. He's great with his fans too. I know. I've watched him. I've been to multiple conventions over days, interacted with the man, and interacted just from an observation standpoint. Well, anyway, in 2019, he was falsely accused. Well, he had accusations. Let's just say I didn't know there were false accusations at the time, but you had all these accusations. They hammered him all at once. You had the media they hit with multiple outlets. You had just all of these people pour out of the woodworks, and they were calling him the worst things ever. Let's say they were calling him a child enthusiast. Let's just say it that way. But they were also, yeah, I mean, they were calling him all these horrible things. And it turned out, like when they were saying, the child enthusiast, for example, that was because he hugged fans at conventions. They paid to meet him, and he would like give them a hug or a peck on the cheek because they stood in line. They paid $50 to get his signature, and he gave them a hug, and that made him some kind of monster. And the accusations against him were not only appalling. He actually had he had three main workers come out, and they made accusations like 12 years ago, when we were in this hallway, he pulled my hair and he whispered something sexual in my ear. 12 years ago. Can't fact check that. Can't really look into anything there. The people they're making these accusations, they have some very questionable, very sketchy pasts themselves. Yeah, but and then they would change up their stories, and I mean, it was an insane thing. And yeah, getting involved, just saying, we need to verify some of this stuff, though. That what people will do to you for asking for proof. When you're, again, if you want empathy from me because you're saying, hey, something terrible happened to me. I work in mental health. I very much, you can have that all day long, but if you want my help burning down someone's life, you better take it somewhere else. Until you verify that those people are the worst people in the world, and they absolutely deserve everything that's coming to them. But they need to be right. You got to be right.
That's, I mean, absolutely. I'm gonna have to stop my cam here. It's really weird that all of a sudden I have like internet issues when I have tug on. Interesting. And for some reason, when I turn my camera off, no one wants to see my, pretty face. Like they go away, for whatever reason it is. But we'll keep an eye on it. So you guys might have to look at a drinking robot talking to the umbrella guy, but we'll keep it going. But
Well, I'll dress casual. There we go.
Yeah, much better. Much better. So I apologize, everyone in the chat. Interesting. Yeah, Tug breaks the internet.
Indeed.
I agree. He has been breaking the internet. Quickly, real quick. Summer Lee for $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support here. Wicked Virtue says, yay, the podcast is back. Hey, everyone. Hey, Wicked. I've got another super chat with a question, and we're going to get to that just a little bit later. So thank you for the questions. But yeah, let's see if it works. When I turn the cam on, it's like the
is it working
like
for
the
you
power
now?
goes down. It's very, very weird. So it's very weird how that works. But so when this Me Too stuff happened, Amber Heard spoke up. And was that something you were like, huh? That's interesting. Like that's interesting. Like when it first happened, where you just wanted to do your own research, and because of all like some of these weird accusations that were coming out and stuff like that, or was it just did someone approach you, or was it just like, I just wanted to look into this?
No, actually, some of this stuff started making headlines when so he was accused when they were divorcing, and that was right before Me Too. Then she decided, I actually didn't know about the divorce or anything like that. It didn't even blip on my radar. What caught our attention was she wrote an op-ed, and the op-ed, while it didn't mention his name, it went it went pretty hard at him about 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 utilizing those accusations to kind of destroy his life, and it very well worked. Well, there were different articles that followed up on that, and around that time, we all catch certain articles when they come up. Well, Flash again, he was like, "Yo, man, check this mess out. Check out what's happening here." And when he pointed that out, I was curious about it. I covered it, and it was strange. So I started looking around, and I was doing surface level investigation, and I ran across another YouTuber called Incredibly Average. He had not only put up, but he had put subtitles with, and again, some of the subtitles, maybe 3%, they could be, open to interpretation, but 97% of those subtitles were solid. And what was being said there, you could tell that it wasn't like it was being made out. In fact, it very much looked like she was an abuser in the relationship, and
Mm.
she was accusing him. So she was destroying his career after she had abused him. And yeah, man, I just wanted to know more.
And so then you made your first video on the whole thing, and it just kind of like more evidence just started coming, and you just started covering it. I mean, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is not the only thing that you've covered on your channel.
No, no, no.
But leading up to the trial, it definitely was highlighted probably more than the other stuff that you were covering.
Yeah.
So, and then it just started but I mean, some of the information that you were able to retrieve, it's like how, like some of the stuff, I guess it's all public record, I'm
Some of it
assuming.
is. Some of it
Yeah.
is. Some of it I ended up with sources. I also the people around Depp, friends, even people he's worked with. So you'll say, you'll say the average worker that's out there, all the way up to people that are in his close knit circles. A lot of them will communicate with you. So I spend a lot of time trying to find people. The only person I will name for sure, it came out in the trial. I spoke to his lawyer, Adam Waldman. I spoke to him on the phone a few times, and that these people, they didn't dance around things. They also, one of the things that I found interesting. Number one, they didn't try to tell me what to think about that. They answered my questions, and number two, they didn't sugarcoat things. Like the guy has a substance abuse history. Obviously, I mean, you kind of expect that with Hollywood anyway. But yeah, they didn't try to make that look good, and I found that to be fascinating. And as I made more and more, I couldn't find one person to tell me any of these terrible things, that supposedly happened. And again, like I said, we're not just talking about close-knit circle friends. We're talking about people that worked on movies with the guy. You know how it is, like
Yeah.
Disney, for example. You can go out and you can find sources out there because these companies treat people like shit. So
Yeah.
you can find a source anywhere. Well, I talked to a lot of people, and I could not find anything to even remotely validate what she said, but I could find people to validate what he was saying.
But as you kept going, and like, I don't know if it was before or after the UK trial, like you couldn't even mention her name.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
I loved it because I'm watching your videos and you're like, and here the name that we cannot name, it's like that you were saying,
Okay. That
you were
certain
just trying to
Aquaman
cover your,
starlet.
yeah, you were just trying to cover your bases, because it just seemed like she was kind of being protected.
She was. I got a
Um,
right before the trial. I talked to somebody. Let's just say that would know this, right? And they told me that if she lost the trial, that I would not have a trial. I would not have a. They said I should hope that the trial lasts longer than the month, so I get a payout, because when the trial decision comes in, if he loses, my channel's gone for real. I was out. I mean, they were definitely, they were people that would know. So she definitely had backing. She definitely had some large scale backing. Her law team had been in contact with YouTube and everything else, trying to get myself removed. My MCN, I actually had to employ an MCN, a multi-channel network, someone to watch my back. I got struck in the last year. I got struck 9 times for covering this thing, and all of them were removed. But I had to have someone advocate for me, because I couldn't get it done myself. So.
That's crazy. It's like one video, and like the herd team, I guess, were like, get it down. Let's go.
Well, they're using bots. I did a video today where they employed these guys to create a bot algorithm, and they have the samples of it up. So I actually didn't cover it as like a rumor or anything. I covered them using sample videos showing how this thing worked. And they were hijacking a post about Jason Momoa, and they were putting up 10,000 comments. So, all they wanted to make it look like random feedback. Well, these are the same people behind the scenes that were filing. So they had leaks behind the scenes in Twitter. You know how Twitter DM groups like Flashcast? Well, they have groups that specialize in doxing and filing false police reports and flagging, and they would build bots specifically with the purpose of mass flagging YouTube videos. And it worked quite a few times. So
what's interesting, like we were talking before we went live, and then we're gonna get into the important question that I said on Twitter about your underwear.
Don't tell them about my $9.7 million I made now. Oh, wait.
That's too. No. It's interesting how kind of me and you kind of have like almost not the same, but a little different, because when the stuff happened to Gina Carano, it was like all these bots were going after her, and like they were trying to get that fire Gina Carano hashtag, trying to get that trending. Anytime she tweeted anything, it was like they came in drones, man. Like I've never seen it. And then you click on these accounts, and it's like they're following like 100 people, and they've got 2 followers, like all of them. They've all got like a Star Wars avatar, and it's just the same. It's the same. Like you could click on 10 in a row, and it would literally be the same, and they're all following each other. But it's like it's just so bizarre. And so like taking a dive into all that, and how they how they tried to ruin her life with the bots and everything, and to the point where they got her fired, and they just try to take everything away from her because she had a different opinion than what these people want you to have. And so you kind of saw this, like the same thing happening with Johnny Depp. It was just like, we want to destroy this man, and just remove everything that he has. Like, we want to make him seem like he's an abuser, take away his livelihood, take away everything, which he said in the trial. He's like, I lost everything. Pretty much lost everything, and
I lost everything short of nothing. I mean, that's a powerful statement, man, for a guy like at these people's levels. I mean, like Gina Carano. Okay, she was at the top of that game there, but she had a difference of opinion, and that annoys me so much. She wasn't out there telling people that disagreed with her, you're not welcome to come here, you're not welcome to watch this, you're not welcome. She was expressing I thought a pretty milquetoast ideas. I mean, they weren't very controversial, but in this day and age, people, they decide that they're controversial, and like you said, you pick up the wrong crazies, and they will do absolutely everything to destroy these people's lives, and to destroy your life just for saying that it's wrong too.
Well, I remember, and it wasn't on the greatest scale. as what's happening to you. But when I did the interview with her, and then she was fired just a few months later. The first wave of bots came that said it was my fault because she was on this YouTube channel, even though she was on a few others. The big wave hit me when I took a dive into Lucasfilm and found all their employees like just blatantly lying about her, calling her this, a racist, a yacht, like all those things, like on their public Twitter. And hey, man, I got them all. We put a video out there. It did really well. And that's when like the news media started emailing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like the news media wants to talk to me. It's like TMZ, Fox News, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm talking to, my friends over at Geeks and Gamers. It's like, I'm just not going to respond because I don't like, what are they going to ask me? It's just go watch the video.
Yeah, they
like
want
it's
to.
all there.
Well, they want to wreck you. They had the worst intent. Like that's the same thing when all of this stuff came up. The well, the Washington Post did not contact me for comment. That caused them problems. They put out a hit piece. But you know what? After that happened, I had everybody and their mama hitting me up. Right after Adam Waldman mentioned that we spoke, I had everybody and their mama hitting me up, and I won't talk to them. Like I said on Twitter, I will talk to people like yourself. People that I know you're into. We spoke before, and Drunk asked, is there anything off limits? No, I'd answer whatever. If I didn't want to answer it, I'd say no, I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
But nothing off limits. But there's no bad intention there, even if it's a question that I personally don't want to answer. It's still, there's no bad intent in this. It's searching for truth. Those people,
it's searching,
they want
exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we're doing is searching for the truth and let the truth be out there. It's like, and these people that in the higher ups of some of these corporations, they just think they're above all of us and that they can do whatever they want. They have the right to destroy someone if they want to. They have the right to just believe accusations and say, well, you're accused. Be gone with you. Like, be gone. And then the worst part about it, when it comes to you, like I said, I didn't see it on a bigger scale than what I'm seeing with you, is that people like you who put out the truth or are putting out like this information, say, hey, this is what's going on here. This is what, like, they're so mad at you. And it's like every little thing that you do now, I'm sure it's being watched. Like, you probably, maybe even this interview, I don't know. Like they're hoping you would say something that they could use against you.
Well, they get some good. They've been. I love how they try to put in quotes that they think will look bad, and some of them are just awesome. I love them. Like Newsweek. Okay, this was this is actually how their article reads. They say, Boozy and the Umbrella Guys sparred online, throwing multiple accusations at each other after being accused of benefiting from monetization. The Umbrella Guy doubled down, saying, I monetize the salt of herd simps. Those morons are going to pay for my house before it's done and maybe buy me a platinum grill. I think that looks bad. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. I love it. Give me more airtime like that, because that is awesome. I couldn't pay for the positive press there. And they think, oh, we got you. No, you didn't get anything there. All you did is.
Oh, Tug's mic is messing up. Is that true?
Mic. I don't.
It sounds like it's going robot. The sound was going in and out. Yeah. People were saying.
Well, it's not on my. I'm showing like a good connection and everything. So
now it's back to normal. What is it? Everything runs fine. I have turned on and everything's like, holy crap! My internet's goofing up. The mics ain't working. But while you were saying those quotes, though, it was kind of funny because it was popping in and out. But I mean, yeah, like honestly, if you just look up like your name,
on look it up on
on Google search, it's like everything is there. So like Newsweek, YouTuber videos dragging Amber Heard may have made him up to $64,000 a month. I mean,
they keep changing their mind about what I make too. It's really sad. They keep lowering the price.
Yeah, there it is here. It's
1,000. They said I was making 80, and now they can drag me down to 64. I'm kind of sad, and I'm losing money somehow.
I mean, it goes from there, and then it's like you have one. It's like Eve Barlow slammed for doxing that umbrella guy. That came out on a smaller publication.
I like that one.
Yeah, well, I mean,
speaking of bots, they did call us all bots at one time too, and the idea wasn't just to dox a person like myself. Amber Heard hit up Twitter. Okay, so she hired this company, Bot Signal. The guy, Chris Boozy, they keep talking about, that guy was actually hired by them.
Hold on, Tug, can you do me a favor and like pop out and pop back in?
Yeah. I'll pop out.
It sounds like it. Hold on, let me just cut him off. I want to make sure you guys hear what he's saying. I don't know what that is. It might be me, but I sound fine, right? Figures I have like the biggest interview here, and like they mess it up. So they said I sound fine, or you were choppy. So
I don't know. My internet seems good. I'm even hardwired. I'm not even on Wi-Fi.
Now you sound perfect. So hey, it's probably a StreamYard thing. I apologize, everyone. Yeah, Disney's not happy. The two of us together.
That's terrible. It's terrible for that. Hey, am I roboting now?
Sound good.
I got a robot sound changer, so I could turn that on.
Oh no, we've heard it. I'm gonna grab some super chats real quick. Russman for 20 says, keep doing what you both do. I appreciate the support, man. Seriously, appreciate it. My man Star says, hey Jay and Tugs, love you both. You guys are forever amazing. Tugs, thank you for supporting Johnny Depp. Jay, keep it up, man. I hope we can chat again soon. I hear you, man. Just Laura for 99 cents sends a super sticker. Thank you so much. My Beavers unit says, I wonder if you can get that Tug feller on FNT. He's been on FNT.
Yeah, I've been on there a few times.
My job is done. The Outcast created for 5 says, yo, Jay, we recently got sidetracked on a discussion of top 10 disaster films to the cancellation of Gina. It's at 150. I emailed you the link. Thank you, man. No problem. And Value Renegade for 10. I've been ducking Jay and the Welcome to Rebellion podcast for months. Glad he found a replacement for me tonight. But Tug is much better anyway. Cheers to the champion of justice. How does it feel? Thank you guys all for the super chat. And how does it feel to have so many people supporting and just not wanting any harm to come to you?
Kind of surreal, to be honest. I mean, we do this stuff. Just I don't like celebrities, and I don't feel like any of us are really celebrities. I'm sitting in my basement with a microphone in my face. I'm pretty chill here, and seeing all these people that want to support you, that want you to do well. It's surreal. It's very humbling. Man, I mean, I come from humble roots here anyway.
I don't know what is happening, man, but your mic just crackled all up again. It's unbelievable.
I don't know, man.
They said my mic sounds good. It's got to be the Streamlabs, man. It's got to be the Streamlabs messing it up. Or these people, they just don't want you talking. I can see it on the chat. It's like a mic attack. I'm not sure. It says you sound crunchy, Tug. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at the settings, everyone, and trying to like everything on my end says it sounds great as well. So
I'm good on my side. Strong signal, everything. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, you might have to hear a little crunchy Tug for a minute. Who knows? While they said everyone's like jiggle the chords.
The chords.
I'm not sure. Jay gets Tug a better mic. Yeah, I don't know. Disney does not like the stream, says Wookie. Maybe it's only on Tug's side. His internet sounds good. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it just sounds like he's speeding up. It sounds like a cassette fast forwarding.
That's weird.
I always said that too. Like I would send you super chats and be like, I would tell you, I was like, when I write a biography about my life, I want you to read it in your voice. So, you know,
We
but
could get to that. We could get to the genus section. I put in my own words there.
you
I'll
put in
make up
your,
rumors.
but I mean, like to see so many people like this, I put this in the chat as well. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you saw this or not, but like there's actually a petition out there that says keep that umbrella guy on YouTube and end the targeted harassment of him and his family. It's at 16,000 signatures. Did you know about this?
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is I haven't really promoted it. I was curious. The reason is not that it's a bad
Sound
thing. It's
perfect,
actually
man.
a good thing. Yeah, but I didn't want to. I wanted to see how it would be naturally without me pushing it. I just wanted to see how it would go. It trended for 4 days on Twitter as well. And what's funny is you can tell that the other side of this is using bots. They're doing some nonsense because despite the fact that they had the mainstream media go, Newsweek, they had articles bring up they they had a petition trying to get me removed from YouTube. There's a change.org petition trying to remove me. And despite them pushing it, Newsweek, all of that, they've gotten about that. Well, the last time I looked, they had 1,500 signatures. So we have 10 times the signatures to that already. It's hilarious. But it says that what they're doing is not very organic.
It's how do you brace yourself and your family for like a possible coming storm? Like because I'm pretty sure you knew if Johnny Depp won the trial that everyone that supported him would be next, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
like did you kind of know that? Like were you like, hey, things might get a little crispy around here?
Well,
So like did you have to prepare anything or were you just kind of like just waiting to see what happens or how did that work?
I've been through that before. In 2019, we actually had the actual see. It's interesting. In 2019, we had all the information put out about who we were and everything else. So Eve Barlow, like a lot of these people didn't. They just now. You can tell they just now were like, "Ooh, I gotcha." So they're trying to dox. They just don't realize like I don't care anymore. But in 2019, I did care. I very much did because my wife was pregnant. These people behind the scenes, they were talking about hopefully driving her to miscarry and just all kinds of crazy shit.
Wow.
And yeah, and I wasn't ready. The first move that they made was not to. It's the same move that they made when you could tell this was new, that they didn't know who I was before, and they tripped over it again because the first move, both times, it wasn't to harass, it wasn't to go after jobs, it was to call Child Protective Services. They went after CPS. They've done it, and they're doing it again. So I knew what to do with that, though. I mean, we had a lawyer the first time it happened. I had to make kind of actually I used Vic Mignogna's lawyer. I talked to him. This time we knew some people that were in this area to make sure that it was headed off like right away. And I mean, but that's yeah, that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with. When people ask like, "What's YouTube like?" Well, it can be amazing. Like you were talking about all the positives, but man, there can be a weird side to it too. When you're calling the district attorney in the area, being like, "Yeah, I hear that there's reports about us." With people are calling and saying that we've been hiding bodies on our property and murdering people, which
Jeez.
yeah, legitly happened. That legitly happened, calling our mayor and complaining about things. So, uh, I mean, that's surreal. That side, and people are like, "Well, you could, you report that to law enforcement doesn't care, man. They don't care. They don't care if they talk about." We had some people. I'm gonna. They were talking about murdering and let's just say doing child enthusiast stuff to our 8-year-old, and the police didn't care about that, and we could identify
Wow.
them. Yeah. So I mean, you just you prepare, and we live in the U.S. South. I'm probably as well armed as our SWAT team in the area. So
Yeah.
so it's not like I worry about that. I feel like I'm begging weirdos not to show up at my house, because if they come here, I'm not really worried about my safety. I just don't want to have to live with the consequences of what'll
Yeah.
happen, you know?
Yeah. I say that too. I was like, I live in Florida. Like the police come to your house if you don't have a gun in Florida. They're just like,
Mm.
hey, you okay? We notice you're missing something and you're like, so, one of the craziest things that I had to deal with was someone like, they just kept posting my address after this Gina thing. They just kept posting it, like every live stream everywhere. And like, they kept sending emails to the point where I had to like report all that stuff. And just like you said, a lot of them were just like, all right, well, what are we going to do? Internet weirdo says something. It's like, okay. And then they eventually stopped. But that's the thing that I most worry about. Like, especially someone like you, is just, how do you prepare?
Well,
I mean, have you noticed anyone like hanging out on your street that you didn't know or anything like that? Or
no, I mean, we have loosely neighbors, I'm going to say, and they wouldn't like outsiders around this area too. They would handle them as well. They're just they're just as protective as we would be. I haven't noticed anything like that, but I mean, we did have a guy that kept messaging at one time saying that he was mailing us a bomb, essentially. Now, he didn't. He actually tried to mail, and he mailed it to the wrong place. These people actually, here's a part that sucks, I'll tell you, because sometimes I will have to set certain things straight. Like the house people were trying to target, I didn't live there. That was a property that my grandfather owned, and they were trying to send police out that way. My grandfather is an old Southerner, and he may shoot it out with the police. Like he's crazy. He'd probably take a few with him, but they might kill him that way. And I was like, oh my God. And here's a funny story. So this guy kept threatening to mail something to us, and he kept saying it was a bomb, basically. That's what he's saying. Well, it wasn't. It was a bag of novelty gummy dicks. Okay, well, I was like, a bomb? This could kill it could kill somebody at the post office, whatever. So I called it, and nobody cared. All right, well, the place they mailed it to, I didn't live there anymore. We actually had a sheriff's, I guess a county deputy that was living there at the time, and his kid ended up opening it. So
gummies.
Yeah, gummy dicks. His kid ended up opening a bag of gummy dicks. So
see, I didn't get all that. I got somebody that sent me, and I regret what I did. I had someone send me 50. I think it was 50. It was a lot. I mean, it was a huge box of Cara Dune, Gina Carano Funko Pops. Didn't even tell me they were sending it. Wrote a letter on it, says, can you get Gina to... Now, I've never met Gina before this was sent. They're like, can you get this autographed? And I'll make it worth your while. Send it to my P.O. box. And I was like, what? It's like, we're not living together? Like, what the heck? So I literally just folded it up and just said, can you like return to sender? And then the guy sends me like a hate mail. Like, oh, you could have made so much. What's wrong with you? And this, that. I'm like, you know what? If someone does that again, I'm just keeping them for myself.
No, you should have signed them yourself.
I know. It was just such a whirlwind with like news media, and I didn't, like you said, this is like it's like my office. I walk out that door and go to the store. Nobody knows who I am.
Right.
The only people that will recognize me are like maybe if I'm at Universal Studios, because that's what I do for Geeks and Gamers, the theme park coverage. So every now and then, like someone will bump into me, but other than that, it ain't nothing, So it was like it was just weird when all this attention just started like hitting. But I learned, I was like, do it again. You're right. I will sign them, send them back. Maybe I'll put a nice big picture of myself like that, and something. But yeah, people are after like my first death threat that I got online, it freaked me out because it was your first. It's like my first one, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, like someone's coming for me, dear God, help. And then now it's like once a month, and you're like, yeah, here we go again. It's like It's, but I mean, in all honesty, like you take every threat as seriously as you can, but it people are crazy online, and that's the thing. Like when the hit piece came out, like were you like well aware that it was coming? Like
I,
were you like,
I knew
yep, I
something
know
was
it's
coming.
coming?
I knew something was coming. The Taylor Lorenz thing was the first, the first volley, and that was actually fun because they were testing the water. It came from the Washington Post, who was the publisher of the op-ed, for the Johnny Depp. So they were a co-conspirator with Amber Heard. Well, they were testing the waters. They were planning on launching their attack, and they screwed up. They said that they had contacted me and that they had contacted another YouTuber, Legal Bites. Plus, they lied. They made a bunch of just flagrant lies about Johnny Depp's lawyer, Adam Waldman. Well, I knew that they hadn't contacted me because the name, I recognized the name, and I went through, checked everything just to make sure, and I couldn't find anything with it. So I put that on blast. I was like, hey, they never contacted me. They're lying. An hour later, to cover their trail, that the writer Taylor Lorenz, she's the one who docs libs of TikTok,
Yeah.
she wrote me an hour later trying to cover her trail, making it sound like she had done that. And so I posted that as well. That made national media because I learned something in that. I learned that media may turn on us, they may hate us, but sometimes they hate certain people even more.
Yeah.
Like I had Fox and CNN both taking up for me at the same time, which was kind of surreal. I mean, both sides of the political divide were doing that. And it wasn't because they were taking up for me, it's because I think they hate Taylor Lorenz. So um
How
yeah.
how was it hearing your name during the trial? Like I bet you kind of thought it would come up eventually. I think we were all thinking it. It was like someone's gonna bring up that umbrella guy. But they called you the umbrella man, right? Isn't that what they said? And I teased you about that for like a week. I was like, hey, it's the umbrella man,
Well,
you know?
I kept saying that that Amber Heard was trying to take down my YouTube channel. I kept saying that, and people were like, that's just conspiratorial and da da da. Well, the obsession that they showed in that trial, it was validation number one that they were obsessed with my channel. Out of everyone that covered or anything else, they were obsessed. They were hyper focused on me, and they've been hyper focused on me for a while. So they weren't just random flaggings. They had been conspiring. And I knew that because I had seen proof that these people had been hyper focused on my channel for a while. But as far as bringing up, I mean, there was validation. First of all, as far as how when you bring up sources, when you say, hey, I've got sources here, or uh, i I heard this from X or Y, people doubt that. So I like the validation. And I heard one other thing when they brought me up. I heard that's what I heard.
Yeah. Speaking of money, Rob Robinson for $200. My goodness, brother. I don't know what to say. Something for the struggle. Much love. Take care. You kind of left me a little speechless. Thank you so much. Like that's unbelievable. That's one of the biggest super chats I think I've ever received. So thank you so much, Rob Robinson. Colin Colleen, excuse me. Did I say that right? Collie M for $2. Hey Tug, always a pleasure to hear your voice. I love his voice. I love his YouTube voice. It's amazing. And Eric for 5 says, thanks, guys. Pay up Amber, justice for Johnny. Hashtag. And this super chat came before the show started. It says, Tug, did Amber Heard really attack you on Twitter from JS Pena for $2?
She directly through her account, no. But the way that happens, okay, you have when I first noticed what was happening, this was before the trial, you have Eve Barlow. Now, Eve Barlow is her girlfriend, her girlfriend that is always, her actual girlfriend, like with her all the time and everything. So she was quoting things that were being brought up in redacted court filings. The first time I found out that I was being mentioned, they would redact my channel because they didn't want me to know that they were bringing me up behind the scenes and stuff. Well, she actually brought up what was said in the redacted portion. So you could tell, obviously, she had access to the court documents. She was talking to Amber Heard, and it was funny. We would be making fun of certain things, like she had some problems with Warner Brothers. You could tell. She unfollowed on Instagram. She unfollowed Jason Momoa and the Aquaman movie. I was making fun of it on my channel, and they corrected it while I was midstream because I was laughing about it. And I like I said, they were hyper focused on it. So anyway, Eve Barlow, you could tell, is her mouthpiece. Like, she doesn't make statements, but Eve Barlow makes them for her. And she was spearheading attack. Also, that Christopher Boozy, that bot sentinel that is aiming at our channel right now, trying to very much get me taken offline. That guy is hired by them. I mean, that's not, look them up. They're in the, I think it was the New York Times that reported on that. In 2020, they were hired by Heard's team. He also has it on his site. He brags about that he's hired. So these are people that they paid to come after us. It's either people that are directly in their life or in their sphere of influence, or they're paid attackers. So did she say it directly out of her mouth? No, but she very well is the instrument doing it.
That. But see, that's the thing. Would you have a conversation with her if she wanted to talk? Like, would you do it live or anything like that? Just curious.
I wouldn't have one behind the scenes. I would.
Yeah. I didn't think that, but like, you'd have to do it publicly. So
I don't know if I would now. At one time, I would have. At one time, I put out a call. They try to make everything nefarious sounding, like the talking to Johnny Depp's lawyer, right? Well,
yeah.
I put out a call for information. I would have talked to anyone because you'll speak to everyone, but no one can own your voice. It's just mine, and I would have then, but now I don't know. I'd really have to think about it because I would figure that the way they would try to spin it into bullying and harassing and everything else, I probably would roll the dice on it and say, yeah, because I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be like Dateline NBC. I would be nice, I would be cordial, but I would be ferocious. They wouldn't want to step to me because I would ask them everything that they don't want to ask.
I felt the same way too at times when they were like, hey, would you talk to like these people from Lucasfilm? I was like, I would. I think if they had caught me before, maybe, but now it's like, nah, go enjoy your company. We got bigger and better things. And the beautiful thing out of all of this is, at least for me, like I said, Gina went through stuff and so many people came to support her and they're supporting her now at these conventions where she's drawn the biggest line. But this whole Welcome to Rebellion movement where you can only complain so much without, creating something. If you're like, I'm tired of comic books. All right, well then, you know what? Let's just create our own. I'm tired of this. And that's what Gina was doing. It's like rebelling against your fears, rebelling against what people might say, rebelling against whatever lie you've been told that you're not good enough, that you're not smart, or that whatever, and going out and doing it yourself. And just doing the very best that you can. And this is my segue right into your Indiegogo project, which is right here.
Yeah, we got it in demand right now. That's the way to do it, man. Like you're talking about, we've got to go out. We can either complain forever and we can do absolutely nothing except get frustrated and drive people away, or we can tell people that there are alternatives. And that's really the message that we need to preach. There are alternatives. Like you said, when we're rebelling, we need to rebel. We need to become that small but mighty force. And yeah, we can very much take down anything along the way. I love what we're able to do with this. Our project is all ages. It's not kids. It's for everyone, but it involves my entire family. My wife writes the mini comics, so she actually, she gets to go out, have fun with that stuff. My daughter, she made cover art for this, and
that's the one that I got. I got your daughter's cover art.
Yeah, I love
So
that idea, and we get to put in a charity tier. So,
I love
you
that
know,
too.
yeah.
I
So I
love
mean,
that
I
too.
this is our third campaign too. So I mean, we're getting better as we go along. There's still I wish the beer bug like the beer bug is slow. It slows everything down so much. I mean, just every single thing that we have to do is slowed down. Right now, I'm trying to print cards, for example, and those just they're stretch goals. They're like a freebie, and that's just been a pain in the butt because there's so many problems. But at the same time, it's very rewarding to be able to go out and to do our own thing. But I love that she's had her second cover here. The art is phenomenal on it. We give updates. We try to. I try to do it weekly, but sometimes it's every 2 weeks. But I mean, we're
I
moving
can't wait to
along.
get mine, and I can't wait. This is what we do here, and like that. This is at the end of the day, we call out the BS, and then we're just like we're gonna make our own stuff. Many people don't know, I have a book that's coming out too. It's taken me almost 3.5 years because I'm not an artist or anything, and I'm just wrote a collection of series for kids from like fourth grade. It's about eighth grade range, I think, because I didn't like some of the garbage that's out there for them, and it's just like it's time to put my money where my mouth is and say, well, if I got tired of it, let me do my own thing. The link is in the description. Please check it out. I also put it in the chat. Please check that out as well, wherever you're listening from, and back this project because that's what we're doing. I mean, again, like we bringing up Gina too. That's what she did. She's like, well, I got fired. I'm gonna make my own movies, and we're gonna get started. We're just gonna do what we're just gonna do what we can do with what we got because we're just tired of the BS out there. We're tired of them pushing agenda. We're tired of all that stuff, and like we're just gonna do our own thing. And if more people would just come together, because that's that is what I think is really missing, is that people there's a lot of good authors out there. There's a lot of good artists out there. There's a lot of good people that can do great things, that could tell stories, that could take pictures, that can do things, but they just either afraid or they don't know how to get started and stuff. And it's just you just gotta like take a couple steps and just keep going. Even people that are like, how do I start a YouTube channel? Well, you just turn on a camera, and
Yeah,
then you
exactly.
watch people that you really enjoy and kind of see what they're doing, not copy them to a T, but kind of see their setup, and like you just go and talk about what you're passionate about. It's like, how do you start a
Well,
podcast? Well, find a podcast and see what they're doing. It's really interesting. Like, listen, I had no idea I'd have a clothing line or anything like that. It just happened, and we gave all the money away.
right.
It's like we
That's
gave all the
that's
money
what
to
we do, man.
yeah.
It's amazing. Like I can't. Here's another thing that kind of sucks. I can't name the local charities that we give to because if I do, I know what'll happen. I know what these people will do to them. They'll do monstrous things to them. But we've from trial items, we were able to give away around $15,000 from apparel. So I mean that's a lot. And where
It
we
is.
live, it's poor out here, man. I mean we've been very fortunate, but when people first doxed me, like they made fun of two things, and it showed how elitist some of these folks are. They made fun of number one that I was the first person to go to college in my family. My family. I mean, like I said, we've come from nothing, and we scratched and clawed over the years. But I went through the community college route. I was proud of it too. I still am. I worked
Same.
up from nothing, and yeah, they were like, community college, and it's like, dude, that is so elitist of you folks. And they also, they dox bank records. They put up like the fact that I had a bankruptcy in the past, and I was like, man, we come from nothing again.
How many
That's
thousands
not
of
bad.
thousands of other people had to deal with the bankruptcy? I mean, it's like it's this is what we're like pushing against, is these people that look down on us and say, here, consume. like it. If you don't like it, you're the problem, and it's just like they just think they're better than us and they know what's good entertainment. They don't care. Like you said, how do you make fun of someone that goes to community college? It just shows how disgusting these people are. And believe me, every time we crack open that Hollywood skeleton, they don't want those things out. Because it's
no.
it's like there's some dark stuff going on in some of those Hollywood closets, man. I mean, it's just it's really it's really sad. Let me ask you this question. Well, what do you think was your biggest fail and how you recovered from it? Did you have one? And not Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, but just you personally. Like, was there like a moment where it was like, man, like I gotta climb like how did you climb yourself out of
I had
any pit that you might have fallen in with?
I've had a substantial drug addiction in my past. Like I'm talking about like a substantial. That's one thing I've always liked about Gary. Like he's been.
I never knew that about you. You know that?
Yeah, man. I mean, until my kids were born, I probably spent more years as a drug addict. Now I know I was lucky in life. I never went to jail or anything for it, but I mean, I had substantial drug addiction for a long time. I was probably an addict for more years than I wasn't. And when my wife became pregnant, I was like, man, I got to get this shit right. Cause my biological dad was not a very good father. And, I was like, man, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that shit. I know how those people are. I know what a failure is. And I don't want to be that. So that's why stories like the Depp thing resonates with me on specific levels. The addiction thing, you cannot say that substance abuse equals domestic abuse because there are many substance abusers out there. I myself have been a substance abuser for a long time. I still take measures to make sure that I don't slip. I still use maintenance medications and other things. I mean, like I said, I had a hardcore drug addiction. That's like I said, why I like Gary, because he was brutally honest about it. And for the longest time, I didn't talk about it. I wouldn't talk about two things in like you can see proof of this in the Depp case. People that are substance abusers or have been substance abusers, the way that society looks at you, they treat you like garbage. And they also men that have ever been abused. I'm not saying I've been abused. I'm just saying if you had been, why would men speak up? Look at the way they're treated. So I feel like we advocate for all of that when we speak up. But yeah, that was a big pit. That was a hard one to come out of, and I've fallen a few times. It's been rough. Now my kids changed. These people really did annoy me at first coming at my kids because my kids changed my life. I see these people's comments, the cleaned up version of me that they have a picture of. Yeah, the not cleaned up picture version of me would have probably gone to their homes and done something very mean to them. And, my kids made me a better person. They made me a much better, nicer, just all around person. They gave me, now you have to do this stuff for yourself. You have to clean up for yourself. And it's a long climb out of it, but they made me a much, much better person. My wife did too, and there, that's, I'm proud of that, but yeah, it was also a long fail that took a long time to get past.
But see that it's such we need to hear those stories, man. Like, because you don't know you never know who you're talking to that could be dealing with the same thing. And they're just looking for someone that, like you said, that you can relate and just know it's like, hey, I crawled out of it, man. Like if I did it, you got to find your why reasoning, like why you got to get out and never let go. Like you were talking about your kids and your wife, family, and never let go. And it's like, and now look how far you've come. You're on the Drunk 3PO channel, man. Like,
oh man,
it's unbelievable.
Yes.
Like it doesn't get any much.
I made it. I finally made it.
Look at, on all seriousness, but it's like, you've got comic books coming out, you're creative, you become a creator with your family, like successful YouTube channel, successful everything. And it's like, even at your job, it's like, and you were also to raise enough money to give out to charity, like you were talking about before. And that's at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, that is a successful life that has been through hell and back, but was able to do that, and I appreciate you sharing that, because I don't know who hears, but it's like some people need to hear that it's okay that you mess up. Like, just crawl yourself out. It's like, hold on to that.
It's daily too. I work as a mental health therapist, and one of the most valuable things that you can take out of that lesson there is when you're first of all, you have to set concrete goals, not some abstraction. I want to be happier. That's abstract. What does that mean? You got to imagine. You have to do that for yourself. And just like, if you're wanting to get up and walk to the door, you don't just miracle yourself to the door. You got to take steps. It's not a mountain climb either. Yes, you got to climb up, but some days it can be as easy or as difficult as getting out of bed. Getting out of bed is sometimes a challenge. And if you plateau, if you're not making strides of advancement, but you're not going backwards, that's success. If you go backwards, you don't wallow in it. You find a way to keep moving on. And I mean, you can do it too. And it is positive, focusing on those positives. One of the things, in life, I had a really smart person tell me one time that humans are interesting. You could put them in a room with whatever they want. Say you want money, right? You could put them in a room full of money, just sitting in piles all around the room, and you could put a fly in that room. If that person sat in that room long enough in a chair, they'd stop noticing the money and they'd start noticing the fly. We focus a lot of times on the fly. Like, if we get past focusing on the fucking fly and focusing on what we want, it'll make you a lot happier. And you can, a lot of that stuff, it just comes with, sometimes we got to come over big things. Sometimes they're small things, but almost always, they start internal, and some of them are 100% internal. Sometimes it's just a mindset. It's beautiful when you get that stuff corrected. Like, I look at all this right now, I'm having fun. Like, I record everything. I talk about it, but I don't want people for a second thinking when people come at me, I'm not scared of them. I'm stoned, baby. I'm a statue. I've been through these people can't do anything to me. They don't scare me,
man. That's the thing. Like, people don't understand. Like, you've already been through hell and back. Like, what? What is a little? I'm going to tweet at that umbrella guy. That'll show him. He'll stop recording videos and say, it's like, yeah, I'm going to write an article about him and say that he's made money. Such a bad guy. It's like, we just laugh at these people, man. Like, we laugh at them. It's crazy. Like, I tell people that too. Like, 6 years ago, I just went through a terrible thing in my own life. And I had to rediscover to be thankful. And I started a habit that I wake up every morning, and I still do it to this day. Before I even start my day, I find 3 things to be thankful for every day from yesterday. It's like, give me 3 things. I mean, some days was so bad. It was like, well, I'm glad I could turn the faucet on and I have water,
Right.
So I'm thankful for that. But it's like getting that mindset going, man. It once you get it going, once that train gets going in the right direction, man, you can't be stopped. And everything is limitless. I'm just telling you, the creative powers and work ethic and everything, and getting your body back into shape and getting everything and rediscovering yourself and like finding a purpose and value and stuff. It's in your family and everything. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to do. So with all that being said, what was your biggest moment where you just had to like sit back and go, wow, that happened? It was like, wow, that happened. Like, that was pretty big.
When it really when something that drove success home, like I guess to me and my wife, we'd rented all the time. We'd lived meagerly. Well, when YouTube started working and started working decently well, my wife found a home that she liked, and I thought, man, there is no way in hell, there's no way in hell. Look at that. Well, we managed to do that. When we closed on a home, my kids have their own rooms. They can grow up here, and I could possibly pay this thing off, in cash. I might be able to pay this home off within a couple of years on YouTube. Yeah, it's like, wow, that really, I don't know, it just that blew my mind. I mean, obviously, you have the things in life like my daughter's being born,
Of course.
obviously, things
Yeah,
like
yeah, of
that.
course.
But I'm just, focusing on like just something that was absolutely surreal. When I started doing this, I had a gut feeling that it could be something. I had this feeling. I had something to say, and I knew that I needed to say it, but I knew that when you're talking about YouTube video, when you're talking about people making YouTubes, what you've got to look at is not just looking at a podcast, but what do you bring different? It can be a slight, just very slight, subtle difference, but it's got to be a little different. And that different, I felt like it might resonate, and it did. I was lucky. I was very lucky in that, and I feel fortunate in that. But nobody could see it as being successful. Me. Like being able to do things like again, get a home, make a substantial down payment on it, like get a vehicle that wasn't from from the other side of the millennium. That's pretty awesome. I used to drive around in a 1999 Jeep. I love the thing. It's still parked out here, but my kids, like I wanted to get something that was safe. I was actually able to purchase them. I'm not a new vehicle. I don't want to spend like that, but I'm still frugal. But I was
Yeah.
able to get something that was decent. Like I said, those are just mind blowing experiences, man.
It's crazy, right?
No.
It's crazy. And people that don't know me, it was I spent years over in Haiti trying to rebuild after that earthquake, and it's like coming back. I think what was when I started the YouTube channel, and I first of all I just want to say thank you for all the Tug Army subscribing to this channel.
Yes,
There's a lot of
subscribe here.
there's a lot of Star Wars stuff, but we do the podcast, so you might find something that you really like. Just FYI, but I remember when this thing started rolling a little bit, and I was working, as a school teacher. I was like, well, we were able to build an orphanage in El Salvador, and take some kids off the street, and we did that with YouTube, like with the YouTube money, and it was like it was unbelievable, and so like to me that was like if I had a YouTube moment, that was like. Again, beyond Gina and all that stuff, like that was like when we finished it, and I went to El Salvador for the last time. I was like, here you go, let's finish it, and we were able to move those kids in there. That was it was pretty awesome, man. It was pretty awesome. So I'm so proud to know you, man, and like hearing the on top of Johnny Depp and the lady that pooped on the bed, it's like. You just have such a great story that I hope one day either you write it down or put it in a comic or something, like so the world can hear, because people need to hear those stories, that it's possible. They need to hear stories like that it's possible, and that you can make a difference in this world. And yeah, we talk about trials, talk about lightsabers and stuff like that, but at the end of the day,
well, the trial thing, like I talk about the trial thing from the real world experience. Like I couldn't say that for the longest time. One of the positives that came from them doxing is that the reason these words I hang up on them is because they matter. I worked with for the longest time, little kids that had been through some of the most traumatic stuff that you can, I mean, it's just unfathomable things that would happen to kids. And to the point that I stopped working with little kids because I experienced second degree trauma. I couldn't even
Yeah.
talk about this stuff anymore, but
Yeah.
it mattered to me. These words, if you're calling somebody a child enthusiast, or you're calling them you're saying that they abuse women and stuff. Those are the most reprehensible people, and I've helped put together the lives. I've those are moments that I felt great about seeing a client move on. I had a client one time that had been through so much trauma as a child that they stopped talking. They shut down. No words. Didn't speak a word for 14 months.
Mm.
And after 14 months of working with them, they spoke. The things that they said were, oh God. But after months of them speaking, they have reacclimated and they're doing things. And that's such a positive
It
feeling.
is.
It feels good, man.
It
And we
does.
can do good. But I think we do good on this stuff too.
Yeah.
Escapism also matters. Like you guys
Yeah.
talking about escapism, and you do a lot of positives. Like people always say they want positive, commentary. They want to hang out. Well, you do a lot of it here. You take people to theme parks, you goof off and stuff. I actually like what you guys, what you cover here, because you have fun and goof off. And I mean, you're criminally undersubbed. I'm glad that you're growing, but you're also,
Appreciate it, man.
it is, man. You deserve much, much more subscribers
But
than you have.
you gotta have fun, man. We can't stay angry forever. But like, I'm at the point where when all this like all this woke crap, you just laugh at it, man. Like, it's just like we tear it apart and we just like it's just laughing and like we're gonna do our own thing because look how stupid this stuff is. It's just like and I just can't be. Life is so short and so precious, just like you're saying. And if you live your world on Twitter, God help you, because all you'll see is like some of the most miserable, horrible people you will ever come across, but like you said, like seeing lives change and things like that, it can be done, man. It can be done. You just got to get out there and do it, man. Just get out there and do it. What's next for that umbrella guy? What is next?
I have no idea, just to be honest. I mean, I'll look at more cases and stuff. I still want to see how this plays out, because I think
it ain't over.
No. We're in a third chapter. Like that's I heard that from somebody that was, well, let's just say a very good source on that. They said, this is played in chapters. You've seen it. And all we did was, we'll see a lot of eyes move away, because of course they were focused on the trial, and that's fine, but it'll be interesting to see. They're going to try to rewrite this, to retell what happened, to relitigate. Can't let them do that. They're going to try to pass laws where we never see another trial like this, and we can never speak again. We have to stop that too. So yeah, we're gonna.
They're looking to pass laws.
Yeah.
So that people like you cannot talk about trials.
The White House has put together yeah, for real. Like the White House has put together a committee to look into bullying and harassment of women, and one of the things that they list in there, amongst all these terrible things, is gendered disinformation. That's what these people keep talking about, how we put out gendered disinformation. So this is very much political, and you have mainstream media. It almost sounds conspiratorial, like crazy, until you look it up. I mean, there are people trying to pass in other countries the online safety bill, for example. They're quoting MSNBC. They're quoting one of the people that was directly talking about myself as part of the online safety bill. I mean,
Wow.
they're coming after us with legislation. So what happened in the Amber Heard thing, I talked about it forever, but what I'm talking about are words on paper. When that woman went out there and she spoke, everyone saw through her. She was
Yeah.
transparent, and
The
that
dog stepped
she
on a bee.
well, in societally, one of the problems, I also want to continue to challenge these narratives because if she would have been a better actress, we would have never society would have just gone along. If she would have taken a row of quarters and punched herself in the face a few times, society would have just gone along. It didn't. None of the words that came out of Depp's mouth because of the gear between his legs. No one gave a shit, and a lot of people still don't. A lot of people, they still listen and they still believe, and they don't advocate for male domestic abuse survivors, and that is a
Yeah.
travesty. It affects us all, and I think that's a powerful thing. I think we all advocate for these things together too. We all have our
Absolutely.
crossover. So
Absolutely. And not, I mean, even you could be the loudest voice on it, but all of us are underneath just pushing it up. We're all holding a megaphone for you to speak. And that's when people are like, I mean, it's little things too. It's like when you put information out on Twitter, it's just retweeting it. Like that's big. People don't realize how big a lot of that is, or share, or even just hitting the like button, on like to help get the word out on some of these videos. But forget all that, Tug. Forget all that. Everybody wants to know one question. What
okay.
color is your underwear? Like that's the question everybody wants to know. What
Right now I
color
have
is it?
on right now I have on plaid boxers actually.
He's
they're
a
they're
plaid man.
yeah, they're red and I think that's green with the
He's like
little
looking.
yeah,
Also,
I'm actually it's terrible, like, one of the beautiful things about only being an icon here is as I came in from work and I took my pants off and I threw them in a chair and I'm sitting in my boxer shorts, so, I mean, I don't give a shit.
such a celebrity, man, I tell you.
Yeah,
And also
man.
this right here, like everyone, I kind of put this on the title, but through the past 4 hours, we've got Johnny's coming back.
It's
Johnny's
fake.
not coming back. Johnny's getting paid 301. Johnny's not getting paid 301. Johnny will be back. Johnny, I mean,
It's fake. It's not
it's
real. It's not real. It's
you
not
heard
real.
it here, everyone.
Yeah, confirmed. It's not
Not
real.
real.
But the story in that is not the rumor. The story in that is them covering
Of course,
every
eyes
even
up.
potential win. I mean, they locked Johnny Depp out for the longest time, and now they keep covering him because they expect him to be, to get that redemption arc. They expect that right to be wrong, or that wrong to be righted, and on top of that, the outlets, okay, like the New York Post, they made an exclusive deal with her PR guy during the trial to keep going after Johnny Depp. Now they've gone about face and they've turned on her completely. So, I mean, that's your story. It's not the rumor, it's their reaction to it.
Well,
That was very weird.
Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. I have no idea what that was. All I know is I'm watching and just the screens went blank. I'm not kidding. And I'm like,
Yeah, you froze
what?
up for me on my side, and then streamer. I think it's a problem in. I don't know. Okay, so I had this weird issue in the trial, and it happened twice. I was covering. I got to about 16,000 live viewers, and then right in the middle of the trial, it was like I hit a brick wall. Bam, and it just disconnected from YouTube. I thought, oh, what the hell? I first of all, I thought I just got banned. I'm like, oh crap, I got banned, but it wasn't. I didn't lose signal. I didn't do anything, but I could not connect to YouTube, and I got knocked off YouTube. The first time it happened, I got knocked off for 8 minutes. The second time, I got knocked off for 34. So
bizarre. It's Tug. I blame you.
yeah,
That's
I blame
everybody else
Jay.
is blaming you for everything. So I'm gonna read these final super chats here.
All right.
EJ says, any chance of getting James Arnold Taylor or Vic Mignogna on the podcast? I know Gina's a long shot. Gina's been on. Just go through the channel. She's been on many times. It's
Big
just kind of
possibility.
it's just kind of boring. I'd love to get them on. I could reach out. James Arnold Taylor is gonna happen. Probably after the summer. I've already spoke to him, so that'd be cool to have him. He's a voice actor as well. Valiant Renegade for 10 says lots of community college folks become pretty successful. A lot of Ivy League folks only qualify to work at Starbucks. Seen it so much in my career. It's not the college, it's the person. Absolutely. Thank you for the 10 Valiant Renegades. Junk 3PO's too old cat for 20. Wow. Well, there we go. Thank you. Lost my dad and brother to addiction. I love you, Tugs. Says Alice for $2.
Hey,
Wicked Virtue sent a $2 heart sticker. That's awesome. And Silver sent a $4 sticker. I appreciate it. Casey for $50. Thank you so much. Says, I'm thankful for Tugs. I believe you wanted to say Tugs tits. Or is Tugs Tibbs a thing?
Maybe that's what he had to type to get it past the
that's what I think. I think he's saying Tugs tits. I mean, it's hard to believe. We'll get to that. We'll close on your tits. I mean, that's crazy for me to say. Tug, you inspire me. Rising above and standing strong. To Starbright for $2. And if you, this might be a little too personal, but Pena says, where from the South are you, Tug?
No, I'm in Tennessee right now. I am from a little town in Tennessee. I've moved around. That's why you can tell like I have a Southern accent, but my accent's cleaner than a lot of the deep South that you hear, and that's from I lived in Germany as a child. My dad was in the military, and we lived around, but I've always lived in Tennessee off and on throughout all my life, and I love living here, so I probably will never leave again.
When I was in Tennessee, you were like, go eat here. Downtown Nashville was something. Money $2 says Depp versus Heard comic book, priceless.
Yeah, it would be. We'll do spoofs of stuff every now and then, but like we try not to. In the moment, those things matter. Is 6 months from now, the relevance is not right there. Now, Johnny Depp could make, a small fortune doing it, but for us, like I said, the relevance won't be there in 6 months when we get around to the project. So,
I mean, I always said Tug he's gonna read my book of my biography. I can't wait. Thank you to everyone who signed the petition for Tug. I may have made it, but it belongs to all of us. Anything they do, we do 10 times better. You rocks is Salt Storm 007 for $5. Yeah, I mean, again, the amount of support and people that are willing to go to bat for you, it's got to be it's got to be amazing every day to know that there is like a group of people that are like, you are our guy and we're not going to let anything happen to you. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, it is, man. Like I said, it's surreal. It's not something you ever expected in your life to go online. I mean, my YouTube channel's up to like 300 and God, I haven't looked today. I think it's at 383, but I'm not really sure. Let me check. No, I'm at 384 today. So I mean, it's surreal. We're rolling towards 400,000 subscribers. I never thought anything like that was possible. Or Twitter, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, my Twitter's almost at 150,000 followers.
I know, and like when you're like, hey, go follow Drunk 3PO on Twitter, I was like, holy crap, here it comes. It's like, thank you for the shout out, bro.
I've been trying to like grow brand like Camelot. Camelot. He was trying to get to 200,000. I was like, all right, let's see what we can do. And we picked him up over. It was a few stream, but we picked him up almost. I think 4,300 subscribers over there.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that we can take that and introduce people to other people that they would like. Like, again, like good content, or like him, he advocates,
Yeah.
you advocate. And when people see the similarities to what we all do, and one of the things that I love about this is one of my favorite things is it corrects a huge wrong, like Geeks and Gamers, for example. They're treated like these alt-right monsters. Oh my God, and like Jeremy's a nice guy. Jeremy's had my back so many times. I finally got to talk to him, a little while back, and it was good, man. I've always liked what he brought, but even if I didn't, that guy, without knowing me, had my back every fucking time people have come after me. And the way the internet makes people like yourself, him, Ryan, Gary,
we're the worst of the world.
Yeah,
we're so bad. We're building orphanages. We're so bad. We're so bad. The road for $2 says, I'm moved by Tug's story. Plaid undies for life.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, as we get ready to close, you got any like final inspirational words or anything that you wanna share in closing? What's happening?
Just fight for what you think is real and what's right. You pick up a microphone, and the beautiful thing about this stuff is that your voice may resonate with people, because one of the things with us is that we're not like the media. They always say that we're not journalists, and they're absolutely right. I'm not a journalist. You can call me an independent journalist if you want. You call me any of that stuff, but I'm not one of them. I'm the crowd that one day I decided to pick up the microphone and speak, and I was very fortunate. People decided to give me a platform. They listened. Whatever I was saying resonated, because it's the same thing that they were saying too, and they backed me. And it's life changing too. So if you got something you want to advocate for, pick that up. And again, I don't know, man. It's been a surreal journey. It's not over yet, but
no, this isn't going anywhere for a good minute. So make sure you guys subscribe. Excuse me. As I was reading something too, like crossed my wire. Subscribe to that umbrella guy. And one more. That's my problem. I'm a guy. Can only do one thing at a time. Subscribe to Tug. That's it. That's where I was going. Kali M for 10. Always love how real you keep it, Tug. I suffered from addiction as well and can relate so much. Hearing Depp talk about it in the trial made him such a real person for me, because I felt that pain. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the new members. Thank you for the subscribes. And one of the most craziest podcast recordings I think I've ever had. It's like the internet goofed up. The microphones were goofing up. Eventually, they just said, let's just kick them offline for a minute and see if they come back. And if you don't know, you could follow this podcast on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen at Welcome to the Rebellion podcast. Thank you guys for just coming out. And thank you, that umbrella guy. I'm talking too fast now. Trying to get it in before they kick us off again. Thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it, man. Like, seriously.
That's such good
people. Support good people. Support his Indiegogo project. Everything will be in the description, all the links as well. And all you amazing people, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for you guys. And of course, right at the end, David Harvey gifts $10 memberships to people in the chat. So if you got a gift from David, please tell him thank you. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, like the support here. So yeah, welcome new scrubs. That'll be my thing for the next
Subscribers.
I don't know how that's supposed to be. See, we're not professional. I just want everyone to know that. Like we're not professionals.
You know what? I don't want to be a professional.
I don't either.
I enjoy it.
I don't either. I always call myself the best low budget YouTube channel you'll ever find. You know, I went and bought like a $3 light in the back, you know, to kind of make it look like I'm cool. I have a freaking lava lamp back there, you know, and I'm like, maybe I'll put a couple toys and people will think I'm cool. No, it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't, but we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And God bless all of y'all. That's it, y'all. We will catch you on the next one. Till next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope you were inspired today. To hear more of the conversation, check out our Patreon or become a member of the channel. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next episode. And welcome to the